Hello there, this is Xiaodong again. Welcome back to iOS tutorials. It's been a while that I couldn't find time to upload videos until today. So today we're gonna keep working on CoreData as well as we're gonna use UI table view to put some UI elements to show what we fetched from the CoreData. So today's work is gonna be continuing what we have finished in previous two videos. But don't panic if you didn't watch, my previous two video tutorials. It's fine because the final project will be available in GitHub. Actually, the moment you saw this video, you will be able to find all the codes available there in the GitHub repository. So I will post a link of the project down in the description of this video. So let's dig in and have fun. So here we are at the Xcode. I'm showing you guys the main.storyboard, which we just will have a simple navigation controller that connected to our TableView controller. Inside of it, I'm having a TableView, of course, that having a custom cell with UI image view and 3 labels. Okay, that's all the UI elements that we will show in the final result in the simulator. So I will quickly show you guys all the files that I created. So first one, I create one CoreData manager, which is a class that is subclassing from NS object. Inside of it, I'm having few functions. The first most important one is store object, and second one is fetch object, and third one is clean CoreData, which is store data, fetch data, and delete data. So if you have any question, how did we implement this, you can find the video tutorials that I made when that have very well explanation for how can we implement this. But if you just want to see how that we realize fetch or store, I think this is fine because you will be able to find the final project available in the GitHub link that I posted in the video description. So you just need to download and go through the code. Again, I have also created one struct here called image item. This is what we're gonna use to show in our table view. So as you may notice here in the fetch method, after we fetch the item from the CoreData, we are making an item array, which will be an array of the item image item data model that we create here. So basically that's all preparation that I have done here. So if we come to the table view controller, we will find I put some code here as well, but as you can see in the view did load, I'm not invoking anything. So let's quickly run our project. Basically, it will just show an empty UI table view there. Yes, so as you can see, it's showing an empty UI table view, and because in the number of sections, table view number of rows, I didn't change the code yet. Okay, so first, let's uncomment this line, set up search bar. In the setup search bar function, I'm actually hard code a search bar that we need to use to fetch all the datas. Okay, so as you can see here, we define the search bar using its frame, x value and y value of the width and height. Secondly, we show the scope bar. Scope bar, what is a scope bar? If I run our project into simulator, the scope bar will be these three tabs that you choose. So we're gonna use 3 different ways to filter and fetch our data from the CoreData. So next line, we are defining the scope button titles as name, by, and year, of course, name, by, and year here. And we by default, we are the selected scope button index will be 0. Okay. Next step, we set the delegate of the search bar to be solved because we're going to use the search bar delegate method. We will be using two of them. The first one is text state change. So in the final result, when we type anything, every character you are typing, we are fetching different things. Okay, next one is search bar should end editing. I just put it there, and this one may be useful when you are testing with the real keypad, but for now we don't need it, so we can simply delete it. Everything, we just use our own keypad, keyboard in your MacBook. Okay, so first step, I have created one function called preset CoreData. So in this CoreData, in this function, I'm saving 5 items into our CoreData table. Okay, so we will save image 1 by this guy and in which year. So basically, if we invoke this function, it will invoke that save object 5 times. As you can see, because every time if it's successfully saved, we will print saved. Okay. Let's comment this out. Okay. So for now, we have 5 items that is saved in our CoreData table. So keep that in mind. All right. I have also prepared some images. So I will show you here. So as you can see here, I'm preparing 5 images. Basically, you can download anywhere from any images from Google and name it whatever you want. The way that I name it as IMG001 through IMG005, the reason is I'm only saving the string of the image there in our CoreData. Actually, this is kind of the right thing that you will do later. Saving images is fine into CoreData. It won't take long time to fetch all the data, but be careful if you want to save any video data in your CoreData. In that case, when you fetch anything from the CoreData table, it's better to use multi-threading strategy to fetch CoreData. That's more high-level topics regarding fetch items from the CoreData. So for this basic tutorial, I'm just saving our name of the image into our CoreData. So when we fetch, we got the name of the image, and we simply will show the image using the image name. Now we have image ready, we have everything ready. Let's create our function called update data. Okay, so in this update data function, we're gonna update our local local parameters that will be used before our UI setup. So let's put update data function this line before the setup search bar. Okay, we're gonna use fetch. Let's just ignore the search bar first. Let's try to fetch everything from the CoreData and then show them in the table view. Okay, so we're gonna use the function that we created called fetch object. Okay, so in our TableView controller, we're gonna use CoreData manager dot fetch object. In this function, we are returning an array of image items. So let's define a global variable. When I say global, meaning it's just available in our current class. So let's create a file private var image item array will be an array of image item. Okay, so in this case we are creating an empty array of image items. Okay, and we will update our image item array using the CoreData manager. So by invoking the update CoreData function, we are updating our image item array. Okay. So in the number of sections, we can simply delete. By default, it's returning one section. And next, for number of rows in section, because we only have one section, and we will have image array.count as the number of rows. And next step, we need set up the cell for row at index path for our table view, and let's delete all other functions. Okay, so let's define our cell first, following its way. Let's cell TableView DQ reusable cell with identifier, but the identifier I have predefined here, I believe, is just cell. Oh, sorry. But we need to typecast it as the class name TableView cell. In this case, only we can use cell.image view.image. So by the way, I drag and drop a few IB ollies for all the UI elements there. So it's just an image view name label, by label, and year label. As you can see here, image view, name label, by label, and year label here. So cell.img view.image is equal to UI image named. Here we're going to use the name of the image, which will be a property that we have fetched from this image item array. So let's quickly get image img item is equal to image item array dot index path dot row, because we are getting the exact item that matching the specific line. So in this case, we're returning image item. So we can use img item dot image name. Yes. Exclamation mark. Okay. So next we'll use image name, I believe, or name label. Okay. Dot text is equal to img item dot image name. Cell dot name by label dot text is equal to image by. Cell dot year label and text equal to image item dot image year. So in this case, we are having all the logic that returning all the UI elements for our table view. Okay. Let's see what will happen now. So we are fetching all the data from CoreData only. We are not hard coding anything for these elements. Instead, we save all the data into CoreData and fetch again. So because when I invoke the fetch CoreData function, fetch object function, I'm printing out the image name, year, and by. As you can see, when we fetch all the data here, it's printing here. So which means everything is working. Okay, next step is what we need to do for the search bar. Since we're gonna use filter to fetch the data from a CoreData table, we will need to rewrite our function for fetch object. So in this case, we're gonna use n as predicate to define the standard that we want to filter our data. So in different cases, I'm having 3 examples here. So first you define predicate, and if you define format, name contains whatever. Let's see, if we run the first line, it will only fetch something that name contains 001. So in this case, it will only show the image with 001 here. Also, if we use predicate year greater than, let's say, 2015, okay, as this way it will also work. If year greater than 2015, it will only show, right? So 2016, 17, and 20 is shown. We're gonna use this different standard when we tap name or by or year here. We will change the way we filter our data. Okay, let's see. We're gonna take one more input called selected how to say, scope index, which will be an integer. Okay, and we can make this input as an optional input. In this case, if we come back to our TableView controller, if we put that input as optional value, there will be no compile error here. Let me cancel it for a second. Okay, so let's define our selected scope index just like regularly. And then if you run our project, it will be an compile error that you are writing the function that with fetch object, but actually you need to take input selected scope index. We can make this as nil, means if there is no scope selected index, if we're not giving the input selected scope index, we will put no predicate there. So we can say if selected index is not equal to nil, we will set all these filter. Okay, so we're gonna only use name contains or by contains or year contains. So we will not use this fancy greater than or directly equals whatever. We're gonna only use contains. So let me format these lines a little bit. Okay, let's see. We define a value called how to see, target, filter keyword. Let's define this. And we're gonna use a switch selected. So if it is 0, we will make this selected scope. So filter keyword is equal to name. In Swift, you don't need to, if you have anything written down under the case, you don't need to put break here, but you can, but you don't have to. So for case 1, we will make it by, and by default it will be year. Okay, what? Okay, because this is optional, so you have to put an exclamation mark here. Was written to but never read. Okay, so we're gonna change our filter keyword here. Okay, so let's see, currently by default the selected index is 0. Okay, we will write No, we don't need to write anything for the actions. So every time when you click all the buttons selected, scope bar scope button index will be changed automatically. Okay, so let's so now what we only need to do is to modify this text date change. Okay, so first we are making sure the search text is not empty. Means if it's not empty, we're coming here, right? But when the search text is empty, it will jump into this else condition. Means we will reset our image array using CoreData manager.fetch object. And here we need to reload our table view. Okay. Here, in this case, we are making sure our search text is not empty, means the characters, there should be more than one characters there in our search text here. So in this case, we need to use image array is equal to CoreData manager.fetch object, use select index. Yes, we will pass the search bar dot selected index into it. And one more thing that I forget to pass there, of course, is it is the search text, which is the target text we will be using. So let's define our target text as string. Also, it can be nil. Let's simply copy this to here, which will be the search text. Okay, so we are parsing our search text into target text. We need to now, we will not only check if it's 001, we will check our target text. Okay, the thing is, when the scope bar index is not nil, in that case we will only jump into this condition and filter it. So I think it's quite safe that we didn't do if check for this thing. But if you want, we can put one more condition that target text is not nil. Okay, I think this might be safer. So the final step, we also need to reload our table, otherwise the data won't be reloaded in the table view. So let's run our project. Okay, so first we have our name here. If we search 002, means only the image with name with image 002 will be shown there. If we clean our code, image contains 00 will be shown. Of course, all the 5 images will be shown. And if we choose by, if we search Sheldon, it will only show the image by Sheldon. Let's try Sheldon, which is my Chinese name, doesn't matter. And also let's try O. So I think all 5 images name contains O. Okay, or ER developer. Okay, so also you can search year, I guess 2009 and 2001, 2011, 16, 17. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. I think we have went through quite efficiently for the safe fetch data, and also the use of search bar, and also everything is coupled and presented in our UI table view. Oh, so by the way, I'm adding the search bar in the table header view. So if you are confusing because when we have table, we will have a table header view on the very top. That's why I'm setting the table header view here. But also you can put it put an independent view, or even you can put it in the section header view. Doesn't matter. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this video, and again, the final project will be available in GitHub, so I will post the link. Please leave any comments, or if you have any questions, just ask me. I have been answer all the viewers' questions all the time. I mean, if I have time, I will definitely answer all the questions. I hope you subscribe to our channel, by the way. Also, since for some personal work reason, I'm now working with AI and also self-driving car technology as well. So I'm thinking about post any later I may post some video tutorial about self-driving car technology using Python. Let me know. I mean, leave any comments that if you want to see any tutorials regarding Python of this self-driving car technology as well. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon in next tutorial.